You know, Patty, according to the calendar, it's officially spring.
I know it is.
And with spring comes severe weather.
Yes.
And we live in an
Scary.
RV now.
Yep.
And I thought we should talk about it in this episode of Travels with Delaney,
The podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's Patrick.
I'm Patty.
And we are joined on the old podcast sofa by Truman and Bess, our Cavalier King Charles Spaniels.
Yes.
And
we're here. Say we're here.
We're here. And for those of you who don't know, we are, if you're new to our podcast, we are two 50-somethings
Yes.
that are leaving our
Teaching
25-plus year careers in teaching
Yes.
to pursue our dreams of freedom and independence and whatever else comes with not owning a home.
I feel like I need a motorcycle.
I know. We sound like rebels.
Open road.
Living in our beautiful home on wheels.
Yes.
This
nice.
is week 2.
I know.
That's crazy.
Feels like we've been in here longer.
Yeah,
Why is
I think it's because we
We're
lived in
used
it
to
last
it?
summer.
Yeah.
And we took a 2-week vacation at Christmas in it. So I think it just feels like home.
Mm-hmm.
And so that makes it seem longer.
The only thing that would make this even better is if we were at Happy Acres.
If we were at Happy Acres, I would truly feel at home.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen here probably in about a week and a half.
I'm so excited for that.
For those of you that don't know, Happy Acres is the local campground where I am going to be managing.
Yep.
And we are going to be there for about 7 months.
Yeah.
And we
It'll
open officially April 18th, but we're probably going to head over there early. Hopefully we can get the water on because it is a seasonal park. And then we'll be there till the end of October.
Right.
At which time we will head south to Texas.
And that's going to be so weird, I think, especially for me.
Why is that?
Because not teaching, and when August 12 rolls around.
And you don't have to go back to school.
And I see all the school buses going. I'll be like,
yeah.
Yes.
Because you're headed towards what? About June 1st is your last day?
Around there,
roughly?
Yes. Yeah. I got to look at the calendar, no specifics. But
Right.
I know. 42 days.
42 days.
I have a thing, and I just flick off the page. Done. Done. I think another one bites the dust. Another one.
You're
bites
getting
the
closer.
Hey. Yeah.
I mean, I am in essence done the first week of May, sort of.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have about 3 weeks off. And then I am working what's known as a 25% administrative contract this summer at the college.
And why is that, babe?
Because I'm going to be training my replacement.
Isn't that crazy to think of?
I know. And my, quote, retirement from the college will be effective August 10th.
That's right.
So I'm pretty excited after 28. You've been there 25 years.
Yes.
I'm finishing up 28 years.
Well, this is the end of my 26th. And
26.
they've already...
Sorry to cheat you.
Yeah, I know. Shame on you. Bad boy. And but it's crazy how they've already replaced me.
Yeah, your job has already been filled, so there is no coming back.
Nope. And the new teacher, which she was a first grade teacher, she wanted to move up to 5th grade. She already came down to the room, wanted to check it out, which is fine with me. I've been cleaning stuff out all year because I've had stuff that I probably should have cleaned out a long time ago.
Right.
If you have a teacher friend, you know what I'm talking about. We keep stuff because you never know when you might need, and you already put all that work in.
Yeah.
But she wanted to check out the space, and they're getting new, I don't even know what it's called, some new projector system that's interactive with the kids and which wall she wants it on. Because they asked me, and I said, I don't care. Put it anywhere you want. But I said, if it was me, if I understand this projector, because I have a whiteboard, I wouldn't put it over the whiteboard because I've heard you can't use the whiteboard if the projector is running, which sounds kind of kooky. So I'm thinking, you're going to have to figure this out. So she came down to look at it. And I'm like, you better decide because it's not my decision anymore. I'm out. I always tell my people at work, I'm Phil. I don't care anymore.
Well, I'm just wondering how many other people out there like me, and we're hearing the teacher from Peanuts. Wah, 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 wah.
I've had a little Mountain Dew. It's Friday. I was exhausted. So it's like I'm running on.
You've had Mountain Dew. I've had bourbon. This is going to be quite the episode.
I'm on overdrive. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. Okay.
Well, we're going to talk about severe weather
Yes.
as it relates to an RV, which is an episode we've done before, but it is so important that we felt
we need a refresher.
We need a refresher for all of us, including you and I.
Like a refresher course.
A refresher course.
Yep.
But before we do that, we have to do another exciting round of this or that. I don't know how many times I have to tell you. Jim, has music for that.
I
But
just like doing that.
okay.
Okay.
Well, I guess Jim doesn't care. So
Sorry,
all right,
Jim.
Patty.
Yes.
I'm making yogurt parfaits for breakfast.
Ooh, I love those.
Which are you hoping I pull out of the refrigerator to go on top of your yogurt parfait?
Ooh, okay.
Are you hoping I have fresh strawberries
Yum, yum, yum.
or fresh blueberries?
I like them both. I really like them both. Wow. I think I'm going to go strawberries.
Strawberries it is for the win.
Because in my mind, I'm thinking a really good strawberry. Yummy, yummy.
Yeah, and we've been getting some pretty good strawberries because, it's strawberry season in Florida.
And we always look at our local place for the Plant City.
Plant City strawberries from Florida, absolutely.
Yummy.
And, all right, because I'm a big blueberry fan.
You're the blueberry guy.
I would go with blueberry if I had my choice.
How about both?
Or both, yeah,
I
like
should've
a
said
mega
both.
yogurt parfait.
That's right.
Yeah.
With some granola.
Some granola, and like we
Num
like
num.
that. That's something we like
We
for
eat
breakfast.
those a lot.
Yeah.
I even try to find them like at Sheetz' gas stations when we
We
travel.
used to eat them at Sheetz.
They're so good.
For those of you maybe on the West Coast, Sheetz is just a gas station, much smaller than Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
But they do have food service at Sheetz's. Here on the East Coast, and I don't know because we've been out west, but I honestly don't remember anything. I'm sure there's a chain out there or chains out there similar.
Yeah.
But out east, we have Wawa and we have Sheetz.
You didn't say it right. Wawa.
Wawa. Wawa. Wawa.
Telling you, it's dicey.
Yeah,
I'm dicey.
All right, well, now that is over, and I forgot to pull up any comments.
Oh.
I guess we won't have our comment segment. You can tell.
Sorry.
Yeah. I do want to make one quick announcement, though. This is episode 99.
Yes.
Episode 100 theoretically should air next week.
Right.
It's not going to.
No, it's not.
So we're going to take a week off to get ready for episode 100. The translation is Jim's going to be on vacation, and Patty and Patrick really weren't prepared to record two episodes.
We're tired.
And we're tired, and we wanted to do something special.
Yes, we got to think about this.
For 100. We've been thinking about it for like the last 15 episodes. And
I know.
So we will have something, but I just want to let everybody know we are going to take a week off. We're giving Jim a break because he's headed out on a little trip.
Yep.
And we're going to take a little break because we're going to be taking a little trip of our own.
A little mini trip.
And then repositioning ourselves to hopefully to Happy Acres.
Hopefully at the Happy.
And
happy.
So anyway, just wanted to announce that so everybody knows. Don't panic when you don't see us for 2 weeks. It's just we're going to take a week off, and then we'll be back with episode number 100.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, and we think there's going to be a very special guest.
Right.
We hope.
Yep, that would be great.
Know. Jeff Daniels never returned my email, so I don't think he's coming on, but it was worth a shot.
Bummer City.
Yeah, Bummer City. Anyway, all right, everyone. So we have a really important topic this week that we want to talk about, and that is dealing with severe weather in your RV.
Yep.
And it seems like weather has gotten more extreme.
It's gotten extreme around here.
Yeah. And the reason this topic came up is because just a couple nights ago,
we had some extreme weather.
Yeah, we were under a severe thunderstorm warning. And I said to Patty, I'm like, we haven't dealt with this in a year. We talked about it before on our podcast, but we probably should revisit it because, it's like after severe weather season's over, you kind of forget.
Yep.
And it's probably a good reminder for people that you can still RV, but you need to have one really important thing.
Yes.
And then a few extra things along the way, which we're going to talk about.
Right.
But that number one important thing is just good old common sense.
You do. I mean, you got to be smart.
Yeah.
You got to be alert. You got to be paying attention.
Aware.
Yeah, aware of what's going on.
Yeah, I think awareness, you could say alert, but awareness. If you don't know what's going on, then you might get caught off guard.
To do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So common sense to me is one of the most important is if you are feeling unsafe in your RV, it's probably time to get out.
Get out. Yes.
And we have evacuated RV on numerous occasions. We don't wait till the last second to get out because I think a lot of times that's what happens is people wait too long and then they can't get out.
Right. Or it's too dangerous or something's going on. Yeah.
And so common sense would also include when you arrive at your campsite, you should probably be thinking about if we're supposed to get severe weather, where would we go?
What do I do?
Yeah. And so, if you're at a campground, you should definitely be asking the campground, like what do you recommend
Right.
in the event of severe weather? And by the way, I think a lot of times people think severe weather is only tornadoes.
Oh no, it can be worse.
I mean, you can have just a severe thunderstorm warning with straight line winds or a derecho.
Right.
Is that what that's called?
I think so. Or
Yeah.
derecho. Hail.
Hail can be
Crazy.
Yeah.
Lightning strike. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
I mean, I will say this: if there's a hurricane, the nice thing about a hurricane,
they kind of try to pre-warn.
Yeah, I mean, that's coming, and if you don't get out when you're told to get out, that's
on you.
Tornadoes, as we know,
that's different.
They can pop up pretty quick.
You sometimes you do not know quick enough. I mean, sometimes they just show up, but you got to be paying attention, and we have things that we use to help us be aware of what's going on. Outside of the camper.
So we always have a game plan ahead of time. Especially, again, if we go away for we're coming up on a little trip. We're going to be gone for 4 nights. We're going to look at the weather forecast. And if there's any shot of some severe weather, we're going to formulate a game plan ahead of time.
Right. And not wait to the last minute.
Exactly.
We're going to do this. We're going to...
Some campgrounds have, shelters or designated shelters. Some don't.
Right.
Some you just look for. We've done this where we're like, what would be the safest structure here?
Right.
A lot of times it's like the bathhouse
shower
or something.
Houses, yeah.
Because that's going to be, it may not be a, quote, storm shelter.
But
it's more solid than an RV.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So always be, thinking ahead. Now, if you're going someplace and, you're going to be there 4 nights and they're calling for sunshine every day and there's no chance of severe weather, then maybe you're not thinking about that. But we always try to keep an eye, and you're really good about keeping an eye on the weather.
I do.
I'm always like, whatever it is,
I'm a weather geek.
You are. But, I mean, that's important. And so I think that's the first step. But we also use some tools that then help us.
Yes.
And so which one you want to start with, Patty?
I think one of the
You want to go basic?
Okay. Radar scope. That's a radar, right?
Yeah.
Or NOAA weather radio. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I was thinking, boy, you go wherever you want to go.
All right, you go.
Well, I was just thinking like the Weather Channel app or AccuWeather. Some weather app is the most basic one because it'll let you know what is the the upcoming weather for the next several days.
Predicted weather.
Yeah. And so to me, that's a good thing to have on your smartphone is either the Weather Channel. I mean, everybody has their preference of what they prefer, AccuWeather, Weather Channel, because that allows us to look ahead and say, what's it look like over the next few days while we're here. But just understand that even though they may say there's no chance of severe weather over the next 3 days, those weather apps can change pretty quickly.
Right. Yeah. Oh, it can change around here. We look at things just on a regular basis, and it changes like it does. It says, oh, it's going to rain on Saturday. Then you look and they say, oh, it's not going to rain on. It changes all the time.
Yeah. So that's what I meant by the most basic
of. I didn't read you.
No, that's okay. So I think it's good. I think most people probably have that already on their smartphone.
So.
But just taking a look at that. Let's go to Radar Scope, though, because now we're digging down a little bit more.
Radar Scope is something that you came across because at where you teach in your Ivy Tech, you had a storm chaser.
We had Reed Timmer. Many of you may recognize that name. He was on the Discovery Channel with a storm chasing show. He's still out there storm chasing.
And he had that car. With
the Dominator.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I remember we hosted Reed Timmer at the college, this was many years ago. And I basically just said to him, him and I were hanging out, killing time till our next event. And I said, Reed, we have this RV. What would be a good, what should I use? And he said, well, I use Radar Scope when we're out chasing. It was an app. You do have to pay for it. It's a one-time, it's a one-time fee. Now, you can get like a yearly subscription to higher end features. But the basic, it works. And you might say, well, hey, Patrick, I've already got a radar on my Weather Channel app.
But what's unique about this radar? Isn't it like that the time isn't as last?
Yeah. So your Weather Channel app radar may be delayed up to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the tornado could be over by that time.
Right.
Where with Radar Scope, it is typically no more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like 2 to 3 minutes. So you're going to get a much more accurate picture of what's going on.
Right.
I also like it because it will put boxes to let you know if there's a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning, a flood warning. It's going to put a box around it. You can then push a button, and it will put like the bullseye of you where you're at. And I remember I asked Reed, what do I need to know about this app to protect us in our RV?
And he said to get that app. And
he
said,
said, you see this bullseye? I said, yeah. And he goes, if there's a box around it,
yeah,
that's that tells you that you need to get out. So Patty is actually going to leave us for just a moment because Bess, obviously, you may have heard her barking. So these guys, Truman and Bess, have a routine that after they eat dinner, and it's really Bess that drives this. We started them a long time ago that after dinner they would get a greenie or something like a greenie. We get them at Costco. They're not called greenies. But
I like to call them a greenie wannabe.
Yeah, greenie wannabe. It's for their dental. And Bess is so
conditioned. I have her trained.
So she just finished her dinner. Those of you watching the video podcast might have saw her eating. And the minute she's done eating her dinner, she wants to brush her teeth.
And she'll get annoying.
I told Patty,
yip.
I hope we never run out of those because I would not want to deal with the consequences of Bess if we.
She just is very, she won't give up.
Yeah.
Very persistent. And, you got to have a lot of those on hand with her. So.
So, anyway, back to Radar Scope. We have been using that app now for I don't know how many years, a lot. And the nice thing is it's a one-time purchase, but the reason we like it over the free radars that you get with other apps is it's usually no more than 2 to 3 minutes behind, and it gives you a much better idea where the storm's at. Now, it will do a lot of other things way over our heads.
Well, it does so much stuff. I'm sure, one time you said it could do, the wind velocity.
Wind velocities.
And sometimes, yours versus mine sometimes. Yours does the lightning strike.
Yeah, now I do pay for lightning strikes. That is a yearly fee, but I can actually see where lightning strikes are, and that's more. You don't need that. I just like it. But
well, and it was interesting because when Reed Timmer was with you, he showed you what to look for, what that bow echo around here. That means a tornado might be in that area.
But his big thing was if your location is inside the tornado warning box, you need to get out of your RV immediately.
Don't mess around, yeah.
And so we do use Radar Scope. I think it's a great app. And again, it's just more up to date than the.
That's why I like it too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so those are, I guess, the two big apps is to have a generic weather app and then to have a radar app. We prefer Radar. Now, one other app that we use very heavily is Storm Shield.
Yeah, and a friend of mine at school got me hooked on this because she's also a camper friend, and it's an app. It's easy to use, and in your settings, you manage your location. And so what it does is wherever you are, you set it in the manager locations, and it'll find where you are and put yourself in a map. And then it will notify you if there's any updates by the NOAA Weather Radio. It'll send through, the other night, because he has it and I have it, and it echoes back and forth because they're both going. But it said, thunderstorm warning is now in Steuben County. And da-da-da-da-da. And it'll tell you, if you're sleeping or whether it'll wake you up.
Right.
That way, that's the good thing about it.
And if I remember right, you can set it for what weather events you want it to do. Because we had to go in and shut off because we could.
Yeah, I didn't.
Some of the weather events we were like, we don't need to know that there's a blizzard coming.
No.
Because most likely we're not in an RV during a blizzard. I forget what they were, but we basically went down to saying notify us if there's a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning.
Right.
And it's nice because it does, in essence, as long as you have a cell signal, it will replace your NOAA weather radio. And so
all I do is I just try to always remember once we get to a new spot, if we're traveling in the RV and we get to a new campground or whatever, I'm like, I better change it. I'll go in there and get our location set up.
So it updates location,
so that we're ready to go with whatever might be coming our way. And I'm always checking the weather and what's going on. But yeah, it's a really good one. It's easy, and I think it was free.
I think you're right. I think it is a free app, and that replaced our. We used to always carry a NOAA weather radio. Now, I will say, if we ever found ourselves in a situation where we didn't have a cell signal, then that would be a problem.
Because didn't we have like a little guy through one of those
We
Midland
do
radios?
still carry a Midland weather radio. It's a
Right.
small portable handheld. It's like a radio with a weather radio
Mm-hmm.
app built in. I do still carry that as an absolute backup.
Yeah, we just have that just in case. Yeah.
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 But
It
then
works
the other
great.
thing you could carry if you don't want to mess with a smartphone app is you could carry a traditional NOAA weather,
Mm-hmm.
which I think you can pick those up for around $20.
Yeah, we used to always have one of those.
Yeah, in fact, the one that we took out of our house, because we had one in our
Yeah.
house, I actually took over to the campground
Right.
because that way, whether it's me working or,
You know what's going on.
yeah, that way, if we do get into a tornado warning situation, it'll alert my staff there, and we can then take whatever actions we need to take as a campground to keep our campers safe.
Mm-hmm.
And so that might be something to consider. But Patty and I just prefer that
I just
Storm
for
Shield.
Storm Shield, just
Storm
easy.
Shield.
It's on my phone,
Yeah.
and it's just easy.
And
to
we
use.
both have it, so it's always like two of them going off simultaneously. And it's never at the exact second to
No,
where
they're
it's in
like
stereo.
off a little bit.
It's off by like a quarter of a second or an eighth of
Yeah,
a
it's
second.
weird.
It's kind of funny. You get like
Uh-huh.
but we have literally bolted out of the bed.
Especially at night, it's like, what's going on?
Yeah. And so
Yeah. It wakes you up definitely. So yeah,
right.
it's a good one
Yeah.
to help you be safe.
So what else, Patty? So we've got our weather app.
Right.
We've got our radar app specifically, and then we have our storm shield to protect us. We've talked about the NOAA weather radio that you could carry with you. Make sure if you are carrying a NOAA weather radio with you, even though it's plugged into 110, if you lose power,
You need your batteries.
you need
in
your
it.
batteries. So double check your batteries that they're still good,
Mhm.
because that way if you do lose power in your RV,
Right.
then your batteries will kick in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about, just good common sense, and also finding what would you do if a tornado warning was issued for your area.
Right. What do you do?
Yeah. And trust me, when we hear tornado warning for our area, we are in our truck so fast.
We go.
And we're heading to wherever we designate, whether that's a bathhouse, or whether that's, going to a local gas station.
Right.
I'm trying to think where we've ridden out some tornadoes. I remember in Iowa in I think it was 2017,
Yeah, I guess.
riding out a hotel. We literally ran into a
Because we were
hotel
traveling.
lobby, and we
A
also
gas
ran into a
station.
gas station, because I always look at it as a building probably, even though they can be wiped out, it's probably going to be better than your RV or your vehicle.
Right.
I also like to watch my surroundings, because, again, even if it's not a tornado, it's just high winds. Do we have trees that could fall on our RV?
Right, we're always
Yeah.
because even when we tent camp, we were
Right.
really cautious about where were we at? What trees could fall on us? And I know last summer we had an issue where we were watching some weather coming from the west at Happy Acres, and it was nighttime. That's usually when it seems like weird
Seems
stuff
like
happens.
we get a lot of nighttime, yeah.
And we were like, okay, let's get in the truck. We went up on the highest point so we could kind of see. But then you're like, I think because we were watching with that radar scope, it
Right.
shows you their directional, like what direction. But even though tornadoes can turn and flip and move, but we were like, okay, if we need to, we're going to start driving north, because if we went north, it was going
And
south.
I just want to clarify, you are not going to, quote, outrun
we
a
won't
tornado.
outrun it, but we were
but
trying to
we
get
were-
out of its way.
Yeah, I said, because it was far enough away that I said, if this thing starts to shift past, and that, then we're gonna go, we're gonna get out of here
Right.
and get to a safe
Right.
building. Which back then we had the house, we could have headed over to the house and went
Right.
in the crawl space, but please don't ever think you're going to outrun a
You
tornado,
can't.
especially with an RV in tow. Just think about, RVs can be replaced. That's what insurance is for. Think about your life and get yourself to a safe space as quickly as possible.
Right. And with us having dogs, I'm always thinking about, because they have a backpack, and I always try to sometimes, now that we're getting into that season, I'll put like some snacks in there, some water, and if we have to go, I'll grab that real quick, grab them, and out we go. That way I know I have something right away for them, just in case, we can't get back here to the food they eat or whatever,
Right.
if something weird happened. But I always try to have something, and we always put water in our truck. That way we have water in there.
Yeah.
It's just kind of common sense again. It's just,
Right.
well, I guess because we live in Indiana, you're always doing preparedness anyway.
We grew up on
You grew
tornadoes.
up always having a plan. You grew up always, like my mom and dad, every time this year would make sure, like, 'cause we had a basement, there was stuff down there like blankets and water, and there was just some things that we always had
Right.
as kids that just kind of, I guess, got ingrained in our brain, and that's what we do here in the
Yeah.
trailer.
Again,
So,
I still think a lot of this goes back to just being aware, using common sense.
right. Yeah.
And because, like I said, you can replace your RV. You
Oh,
can't replace
yeah.
a life.
Yep.
And so, I know people have probably made fun of us over
Oh,
the
probably.
years.
I know they have because
Yeah.
we're usually the first ones to
We're the
bolt.
first ones to evacuate. I'm just not willing to take a chance with my life.
Yeah.
And luckily, a tornado has never hit our RV.
No.
But
I just remember at our last place we seasoned, not happy, up at Collins Bay.
yeah,
Next to us was one of those Rubbermaid
sheds.
with our neighbor, which was your sister and brother. Well, my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we look out the window, and that thing literally just like poof.
And that wasn't even a tornado.
No.
That was just straight line winds.
And that thing just went apart all
And
directions.
if you remember, back then we had a Jayco travel trailer, a big one, like 30-some feet. And that thing was rocking
Starting to
left
rock.
or right.
And I'm like,
And we waited too long. Well,
Well,
we got out safely. But we should have gotten around and got out of that
'cause
trailer.
it was early morning,
Yeah.
and we were, you're groggy, and you're trying to wake up, and you
Well,
see
and you're always thinking like, oh, the odds it'll, do
yeah,
damage.
but then
And that was when I think we finally said, never again will we cut it that close.
because if you remember, we had Maddie at the time,
Yeah.
and we're running out of the trailer, and it is just buckets.
Well,
of
that's
water.
the other thing. If you
And
wait
we
till the storm
got
hits.
so soaked, we had a shower.
Yeah.
We had a nature shower.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, so yeah, you just gotta be wise and make sure you know what's going on.
And I don't know. It just feels like the older we get,
The more
storms there are, and they're extending. It used to be you thought of tornado season as a very specific few months.
it's different.
And we saw tornadoes this year
Golly,
in
already.
the winter months, and yeah, we've already had them. So it's one of those things. Never fear the weather. I don't think that should
You just
stop
need
you
to
from going
know-
camping.
yeah.
But yeah, you just need to be aware of what the weather's going to be. Have a plan in place, and don't put yourselves or others in risk
Right.
by trying to be a hero. Like, well, we'll just write it out in our RV.
No.
Because here's the thing: the percentages probably say the odds of a tornado
Are
slim,
but
it only takes one time to then
right.
you become the statistic.
Right.
So.
Yep.
All right, I think that's it. We
I
just
think
wanted
so.
we just wanted not only ourselves to talk through the process, but we wanted all of you to think about it as we, we
Right.
fire up this camping season, and knowing that there are going to be a lot of severe episodes yet to come.
Yeah.
Because this is only March.
This is only the beginning,
Yeah,
not the quote Chicago.
Yeah, you just quoted Chicago. It's only the
the
beginning.
beginning.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of the beginning,
Yeah.
a huge shout out to our friend and producer. I don't know how that's a transition.
How is that a transition?
I don't know, but it just seemed like
Go with it.
But a huge shout out to our friend and producer, Mr. Jim Kuzman.
Thank you, Jim.
Jim, who worked so hard on this, and that's why we didn't want to just throw together a quick episode 100.
Right.
And we just said, Jim's going on vacation, we're going on vacation, and so we'll just take a week off.
Everyone just needs a break.
Yeah, and probably all of you, thank you very much for
Yes.
listening. If you made it this far, you
Bless
guys probably
your
need a
heart.
break from us as well.
All this jibber jabber.
All this jibber jabber. And
Yeah.
so, all right, Patty, any last thoughts on weather?
Just I'd say bear aware.
Bear aware. I don't think that has anything to do with weather.
Be weather-
Flying bears. Yes, if you see a bear going flying by your
Hey.
RV,
I've seen Twister. Cows flying through the air.
I
know that movie.
Well, I'll tell you what, and we're supposed to be at the end of this, but I'm going to say, well, since you brought up Twister, do you remember when we originally saw Twister, the movie?
Yes, we were at the drive-in.
And there was
A thunderstorm coming
at
toward
us. So we're literally watching Twister on a big screen
with flashes of light.
behind
and
it
rumbles
and the
of thunder.
potential for severe weather. And for those of you who don't remember the original Twister movie, there was a scene where they were at a drive-in theater and a Twister hit. So,
And one thing I did learn from there, you always have a leather belt.
oh my gosh, why did they run into the barn with
With all the knives.
Yeah,
And
All right.
tools. Okay, we're digressing.
yeah, we got to digress. We're supposed
Squirrel.
to be we're wrapping this up.
Wrap it up.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to episode number 99. I cannot believe we have recorded 99 episodes of Jibber Jabber.
99.
Taking a week off. We'll see you in a couple weeks for episode 100 of Travels with Delaney.
The podcast.
Until next time, everybody, we'll see ya.
Down the road.
Bye.
Travels with Delaney. We'll see you on down the road.